What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another video. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing how you can trade part-time and still work your 9-to-5 job. But real quick, as always, if you guys do find value in this video and you do love free stock market education, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel and my main channel, Brandon Trades, linked down in the description. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, so how can you trade part-time and still work your full-time 9-to-5 job? Now, this is really going to depend on where you live, and I'm going to be giving you guys different scenarios that you can do depending on where you live and the time zone. But let's just say that you live on the West Coast, and then we'll make our way on over to the East Coast. But let's say you live on the West Coast. Right now, it would currently be around 10 a.m. in the morning. The stock market opens at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. So if you are somebody that works a 9-to-5 job, but you live on the West Coast, that is honestly perfect for you because you can wake up at 6 a.m., get all of your levels prepped for the day. Market opens at 6:30. And at that point, you have around an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours that you can sit here and trade the stock market, trade options. So if you're living on the West Coast, you're set. And then real quick, in case you guys did not know, I do have a 450-page book on Amazon titled The New Age of Technical Analysis. So if you are looking to learn more about my overall day trading and swing trading strategy, how I find bounces, rejects, support and resistance, Fibonacci, and so much more, make sure to check out my book, The New Age of Technical Analysis, on Amazon. The link will be down in the description. But now, what if you live on the East Coast, or what if you even live in a different country where the market doesn't open until the afternoon for you? If you're somebody who lives on the East Coast or in a different country, there's actually many different routes that you can take to ensure that you can still trade and work your 9-to-5 job. Now, a lot of people, when they think about trading, they only think about the stock market and they only think about options. They don't think about all the other things that you could trade. So if you're somebody who's working that 9-to-5 job and you can't sit here in front of a computer for an hour, 2 hours a day, you can start looking at things like futures, you can start looking at Forex, you can start looking for bonds. Again, just a lot of people, they don't really know about trading these other things because a lot of people mainly only know about the stock market and options. So at that point, it's really up to you which market you want to trade. If you do want to stick to futures, I'm going to run down exactly how futures work in this video if that is what you want to trade. So with futures, the main ones, what we have is the ES futures, the NASDAQ futures, and the Dow Jones futures. On this chart right here, I have ES, which is going to be the S&P 500 futures, /NQ is the NASDAQ futures, and /YM is the Dow Jones futures. So ES, the S&P 500, also known as SPY in the regular stock market, NQ, which is going to be QQQ in the regular stock market, the Dow Jones futures, YM, which is going to be DIA in the stock market. So if you want to stick to futures, this is exactly how the futures work. First off, they are open 23 hours a day. They open on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time and go all the way until the next day at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then from there, they close for 1 hour and open up again at 6 p.m. So that happens throughout the entire week, going all the way to Friday. At Friday, they close at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and then they'll open up again on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if you do work a full-time job, you can actually wake up a little earlier in the morning and you can trade futures. So let's just say that today you were getting ready to go to work and you have to leave at, I don't know, let's just say 8 o'clock to get to your job. You could have been trading any of this price action from the open yesterday on the futures at 6 p.m. all the way up until 8 o'clock, which was right here. Now, the way that futures work, it's not like options, right? When we're trading SPY or QQQ, you buy your options, calls or puts, and then you have all the complicated stuff like the Greeks with delta, gamma, theta, vega, and all that stuff. But when it comes to futures, you simply are long the S&P futures or any future. You're simply long the futures or you're short the futures. So pretty much imagine you just buy a share of Apple, and if Apple goes up in price, you're going to make money on that share. Or you could short one share of Apple and you can make money if Apple dropped in price. It's kind of the same way with futures, but the way that futures work is it runs based off of a point system. So with the ES futures, every single point is going to be $50. Now, what is a point? If you went long on the S&P futures at, let's just say 41.50, and price went up to 41.51, that is 1 point. If it went up to 41.52, that is 2 points. 41.53, 3 points, and each point you are going to make $50. Now, on the flip side, say you went long at 41.50 and price dropped down to 41.48. Well, you're going to lose $50 per point. Being 2 points, you would lose $100. So when you're trading futures, you already know how much you could potentially make or lose on the trade based off of the point system. So if you ended up going long right here at, again, 41.50, you could say, okay, my stop loss is below VWAP at 41.48. You know, as soon as you enter the trade that your risk is $100. Now, if you know ideally what you're aiming for your price target, let's say you were aiming for 41.56, you know that you could potentially make $300 of profit when risking only 100. So again, the futures are open 23 hours a day. If you have to leave at 8 o'clock, you have all of this that you could potentially trade. All you would have to do is just scalp a few points. And as you see, the futures offer you plenty of opportunity to get long and short. So futures is definitely something that you can look into if you live on the East Coast and you are working a 9-to-5 job. Now, what if you're somebody who doesn't want to trade something that's $50 per point? You can also trade the ES minis, or the micros, my bad, which is the ESM. And then depending on the month, like this one right here is going to be ESM23. But regardless, you can trade ESM, which is actually going to be $5 per point. So if you're a newer trader, again, you work a full-time job, or you're somebody with a small trading account, but you can't trade the regular hours of the stock market, you can trade ESM and risk $5 per point. So again, let's just say that you ended up going long 41.50, your stop loss was 41.48. You are risking $10 on this trade, $5 per point to the downside. And then from there, say you were aiming again for 41.56, your profit potential was $30 when you were risking 10. So again, if you're newer to futures or you have a small trading account, I would suggest going with ESM. Now, again, the ES is going to be the S&P 500 futures. You can also trade the NASDAQ futures. Now, the NASDAQ futures, this moves a lot more than the S&P futures. So if you're going to decide to trade the NASDAQ futures, definitely be careful. But with the regular NQ, again, QQQ and Q, this is majority tech right here. This is going to move $20 per point. So if you ended up going long at, let's just say 13,280 and price went all the way up to 13,290 within that same candle on the 5-minute time frame, well, it'd be 20 points times 20, which is $400 profit. Now let's just say that your stop loss was, I don't know, let's just use 41.68 as a stop loss. You would be risking 11 points to the downside at $20 per point. So if you're working a full-time job, futures is definitely something that you can look into. And if you don't like how NQ moves based off of $20 per point, you can trade NQM. Again, depending on the expiration month is going to depend on the contracts being traded. But for this, it's actually $2 per point. So if you went long at 13,000 and went all the way up to 13,010, you would make $20 in that trade. Or whatever your stop loss was to the downside, take that many points and then multiply it by 2, and that's how much you are risking to lose on the trade. Again, the NQ futures, they move pretty quick, as you can see right here. I mean, this thing went 13,250 all the way up to 13,333 today. So a very large move on the NQ futures. If you like those larger moves, then look into NQ or look into ES. It's really up to you. I personally don't trade the Dow Jones futures, never have. But if that is something that interests you, feel free to look into it. Now, let's just say that futures is not your thing. You can also look into Forex. I know Forex gets a really bad rep, which I don't understand why. I personally love Forex, and when I see good setups, I will trade it. Pretty much what Forex is it's different currencies. So you could trade the euro dollar to the US dollar. You could trade the Australian dollar to the New Zealand dollar. You could trade the US dollar to the Canadian dollar, whatever it may be. But it's pretty much just trading currencies. But if you do decide to go the Forex route, you need to understand pips, you need to understand lot size. But in my opinion, Forex technical analysis is much easier than stock market analysis. Futures and Forex analysis is easier in my honest opinion. But when it comes to Forex, I mainly swing trade it. Yes, you can day trade it, but you have to use a pretty decent size if you're gonna day trade it. But if you want to be a swing trader, Forex is actually a lot of fun to swing. So again, that is something that you can look into if you're somebody who works a full-time job and you can't be in front of your computer hours a day. Now, there's also other futures markets that you can trade as well. There's gold futures, silver futures, corn futures, bond futures like ZB. There's so many different futures that you can trade. You're not limited to just one market. Your job as a trader is to determine what market do you enjoy to trade the most. You might really like to trade the gold futures. The next person might only like trading the bond futures. That is going to wrap up this video on how you can trade part-time and still work your full-time job. Hopefully you guys did find a lot of value in this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. Everybody have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.